Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live broadcast of Adults Only. I am Jahi, and the gentleman you see in the yellow is Chazz. And tonight we're going to continue a discussion that we had last week, which is weapons that are destroying African American people, part two. But before we say that, I want you all to know that you can see this broadcast every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time and 7 o'clock Eastern Time. So having said that, Chaz, what's going on with you?
Not much. I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm ready to talk some more because we didn't get a chance to really deal with this subject matter last week. We talked a little bit about it. We talked about a lot of things that are destroying us as a people. And so let's just get started with some more things that are our weapons. But before we say that, I want to put this on the screen to let you know when we say weapons that are destroying African American people, we're talking about any implement or device that is used to inflict physical pain, psychological pain, emotional pain, and social damage to harm or kill a person. And so last week, we were talking about all kinds of weapons, racism. We talked about the foods that we eat. I mean, we got into the educational system. We said a whole lot of stuff. So having saying that, Chaz, I'm going to start off with this first one. And I want you all to know that we are having technical difficulties. So hopefully the internet won't shut down. If it does, we may be done for the day, but let's see if we can go all the way. But here's one of the weapons, Chaz, that we have.
Number one is individualism, only focusing on yourself and your personal goals rather than the goals of our group. We all can get sidetracked at that. Like I said, through life, we know we have things that we have to accomplish, but there's a difference between knowing what you have to accomplish, but being fixated on it. All you talk about, you're constantly posting on it. You're constantly trying to outdo everyone, and you're not really thinking about others or trying to help them. It's all about yourself. And in fact, you get angry if somebody tries to outdo you, and it's not about that. It's about working at your own pace, trying to figure out how you can survive in life instead of trying to be bigger and better than the next man or woman.
Yeah, that's true because individualism has really destroyed us and is continuing to destroy many of us because, as you just mentioned, we're only focusing on ourselves. We didn't say that you couldn't focus on yourself, but we're saying if you only focus upon yourself and you don't look at your personal goals and you don't want to help the community and you don't want to help the family. So, Chaz, this individualism, it's been sold to us, and a lot of us have picked up on it. And I think that this is something that we can't sweep under the carpet because people wanting to be themselves only is problematic. And I think sometimes we let our own selves off the hook because we don't talk about how selfish many of us are.
Yeah, and myself included, all of us. Like I said, at one point there could be a time where we could be doing it where we don't notice it, but now I think we're at a point as adults. We know when we're taking it too far. We know when we have our foot on the gas and we're just constantly, just like you said, selfish, not caring about others. In fact, individualism goes to the point where some people do any and everything to stay on top or to step over the next man or woman to get something. So that's how deep this individualism goes if it's not checked at an early level. Letter M. Some of our own people are used as weapons against those of us that want progress for our people, always trying to tear us down. I'll shift this one to you and let you take an out piggyback.
Okay, I apologize for if you see any technical glitches because we are having technical problems with our internet. But at any
Okay.
rate, here's a weapon that's destroying us. Some of our own people, Chaz, they're used as weapons against us. Those of us that want to progress and things of that sort. They always tear us down. They see
Mm.
people like you and I. They see people like you and I and others that are doing a great work. And instead of encouraging wouldn't talk to people like that. I wouldn't try to people. They and on, and it's like they're so messed up that they don't see the need for trying to lift us up, other than for trying to tear us down. And this is why a
Mm.
lot of us we don't like to study, we don't like to research. We just we're used as weapons against our own people. We always talk about other people used as weapons, but what about those of us doing the very same thing that we cry about?
Yeah, and in the parentheses, like you said, it says always trying to tear us down. And that's just in itself, that could be talked about for a whole broadcast. Where constantly ripping somebody, constantly degrading them, constantly putting them down, never words of encouragement, never any upliftment. In fact, there are some of us who love to get on the phone and gossip about others. I mean, this is just ridiculous at how intense this tearing down of one another that we can be. And in fact, some of us can even start some. Now, this is high school to elementary, but you know how this goes. Get on the phone, call a friend, call a relative, start up some drama. And then before you know it, there's some people fighting and stuff outside because of what we said, or we call and meet up with them and fight. So it's pretty terrible. It's pretty terrible. We got Brother Ray in the building. What's up, Ray? He says, Black love and Black respect, Black power. We appreciate you. We got Sister Marie's in the building. She says, Hotel family. We appreciate her. And Brother Ray fires back at us. He says, many of us believe too much and don't know as much. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. He's right because of what the next point is going to be referring to.
Eurocentric conditioning. A trained mind by Europeans to think as if one is a European when that person is not. And we talked about this last week, and I'm just going to piggyback a little bit. We have no issue with the white man or the white woman. We love all our people. Let's make that clear. But there's a difference when people on the news, on the YouTube, on the media, where they put pictures out there of how people should look, what color eyes should they have, what color hair they should have. And some of my brothers and sisters are going out to the stores. We're getting contacts. We're a black man with green eyes, a black man with blue eyes, trying to emulate a white man. And this is what is on the screen. We're being trained to think and act like them when we're not. And I'm pretty sure you've seen that as well yourself.
I really have. And that's a disgrace because everyone should love who they are. But yet, many of us don't love ourselves. And this is why we want to act as if we're a person who we are not. And I think a lot of times that is destroying us as a people because we in our minds, we see ourselves as someone else. And that's a sign that says we don't love ourselves. And because we don't love ourselves, we don't respect ourselves. And because we don't respect ourselves, we don't know who we are. And so we definitely have to look at how many of us have been trained to think as if we're someone that we're not. And this is why and broadcasts like these are not really taken in stride or taken in love, because a lot of us, we have a diet now for just mess. We don't want to look at these truths that we're talking about and see that a lot of our minds have been trained, Chazz, and they've been trained by Europeans to think as if you're that person, but yet you're not. And that's very, very problematic.
Yeah, and I was just going to take it a step further to think that we're them and we're not, and then to put your own race down. We've seen that time and time again, and it even goes to the fact, and I hate bringing this person's name up, but Sammy Sosa. I mean, a guy who bleached the skin, and now, like I said, if you see him now compared to his early pictures, you couldn't tell who he was because he had an identity that he felt like a white man or a white look was better than his own color, which is terrible. To the next point, lack of respect, harsh criticism, belittling, and not valuing each other. I just spoke about that. Tearing people down, always having something negative to say. Every word that comes out of your mouth, you're constantly belittling the next man or the next woman. Like you said on this screen, we just don't value each other. I think we feel like putting and tearing each other down is all we have to live for. So we just constantly do it, but it's a bad look.
Yeah, when we lose respect for each other, as many of us have, even in relationships, people lose respect for one another. And one of the indications is basically how we even talk to each other. You know, we were ready to bite someone's head off, and they may ask us, you know, what's the weather like today? And why don't you look out there yourself? I mean, we have some serious issues and we've lost respect for one another. We criticize each other very harshly. We're
Yeah.
always putting each other down. We don't ever lift anyone up. We don't ever value each other. And these
Mhm.
are the weapons that are destroying us. And sometimes we just don't want to talk about it. But these weapons are really, really hindering us.
Yeah, and before I get to Brother Ray's comment, I just wanted to take it a step further. It even started, and I know, and I'm not trying to be too serious here, but it started back a while where we have these TV shows or YouTube shows where a man be on stage, and they have all these comedy shows where it's for an hour or 2 hours where they just going back and forth talking about a man's shoes, talking about a man's clothes, stuff like that. That put an early blueprint in our brains on what to do to a man when we feel like he's lessening. And there's people in the audience back clapping, laughing, saying that the joke wasn't good enough, bring a harder one. And this is some of the things that society has stooped to. Like you said, we don't respect each other. I'll move on to Brother Ray's comment. He says, we can disagree with our becoming, we can disagree without becoming combative and disrespectful. Absolutely. I have no issue with a person who who doesn't agree with what I say, because there's always going to be disagreements. But like Brother Ray said on the screen, when you're disrespectful to a person, where you're trying to fight or spit or shoot at someone because you don't agree with them, that's terrible. And Brother Ray is spot on with that comment. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, he's spot on with it, but I think the reality is this. That's great from a theoretical perspective. In other words, he's right. We can disagree without becoming combative and disrespectful, but we don't do
Right,
that.
right.
That's the theory, what he's saying. But the
Mm-hmm.
reality is, many of us don't do that. We're very combative, we're
Right.
very disrespectful, we're
Mm-hmm.
mean, we're
Mm-hmm.
rude. We don't like people to say something that we don't agree with. And so he's right in theory, but in reality, he's not right. Not that Ray is wrong. It's just that in reality, a lot of us say that. We can
Yeah.
disagree without becoming combative and disrespectful, but you disagree with somebody and see how combative and disrespectful they are.
Yeah. Brother Ray also says we seek too much entertainment. That's true, but I want to just piggyback a little bit off this previous comment. Like you said, I didn't notice that was a problem. Well, I didn't know it was that big of a problem to where, like you said, now me and you, we disagree on things, but I have enough respect. I have enough self-dignity to not, like I said, talk about a man's family, talk about a man's shoes, stuff like that. What do you think that really came from, where it just became like upright disrespectful?
It came from a conditioning. We've been conditioned to be that way because we've been talked about all of our lives. People have put us down. People have called us the N word. People have called us different concepts that are just mean and derogatory. And so we do the same thing to other people because we've learned that most of it is a learned behavior. When you go to school, you talk about people's parents, and we think that's funny. We think it's cute. So we've developed these immoral ways, these unethical ways. And this is why it's been that way. And even like he said, some of it has to do with this point that's on the screen now. A weapon that's destroying us as an African American people is this: we seek too much entertainment. All we think about is a cell phone. All we think about is a television. All we think about is YouTube. All we think about is Snapchat. All we think about is Instagram. And so these things have been used as weapons against us because
Right,
that's all we seek. We
right.
always looking for people to post something. When we see a post, we want to be the first to like it so everybody can think that, we're down with the cause. And a lot of us are just lonely, man. We're just lonely and we don't know how to deal with that
Mm,
loneliness. So, and then we're looking
mm.
for love in all the wrong places. We like people and we want them to know we like them without saying it. So we like what they do, not knowing that in our heart, these people aren't thinking about us. But
Yeah.
these are the games that we play.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely well said. Brother Ray fires back. He says, define so-called leaders with blind faith. I'll
Yeah,
let you go.
he's talking about leaders that are in certain organizations or spiritual leaders or religious leaders. We just believe what they say without looking at what we need to do to help ourselves. We have this situation in our world where if you are a guru, and you say something like, the sun is giving me money. So instead of me really researching that and saying the sun doesn't give me money, because my mind is blinded, I'm going to follow you and believe you because I believe in what you say. I'm so messed up mentally and psychologically and emotionally, whatever you, that's called blind faith. I won't study that for myself. So when someone else comes and challenges me, I'm angry, or I would say, just like Chad said, because I'm so into what you say and not studying. So that's called blind faith. And he's exposing that thing, man. And I think that's very, very problematic again. And these are weapons that are destroying our people.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask real quick before we move. Would you say that ties into being very gullible?
Yes, that's what it is. It's like little kids. You can tell a child 4 or 5, that there's a such thing as a Santa Claus, or you could tell a little child there's something called the Easter Bunny. You could tell a little child that you saw a man from space come down and talk to you. You could tell a child about the tooth fairy. But you see, when that child investigates that child sees that that's not true. And that child comes back and confronts you and confronts me for lying. But most of us, the weapons that are destroying us is our faith is so blind. So we don't challenge those things. And that's why. But this one here, Chaz, I want you to read it. You can talk about it, but this is a pet peeve of mine. So I'll let you say something because I'm talking much and I want you to get in on this stuff.
Procrastination, putting off what needs to be done. For example, we may have an issue with our vehicles. We know we need to take it to Midas or to our local dealership to get it looked at. And we keep saying, you know what, I'll do it tomorrow. You keep putting it off, keep putting it off. And the thing is with procrastination, it gets worse. It gets worse. The car gets worse. The car gets worse. And now all of a sudden the car won't start up because you neglected it that far. And that's the same with us as people. Certain things. Now, I'm not teasing anyone here who may have not got their high school diploma or stuff like that. But you need these things in order to survive in this society. And it's like when you keep putting these things off that are important, it does nothing but make your situation absolutely worse. And then we sit back 2, 3, 4, 5 months later wondering, how did the problem blow up to be this bad? So that was pretty much all I had to say about the procrastination.
That's pretty good, Chaz. It really is. And see, what I want to do is take it personal now, a putting off of what needs to be done in our lives, Chaz. There are many things that we need to do. We need to take better care of ourselves. We need to do things that's important to us, but we don't do it because we're too busy putting these things off. And this is the part I don't get. Some things for other people, but we won't do things for ourselves. And that blows my mind. The law of self-preservation, even animals do that. They take care of themselves first. But with us, we put off what we need to do and we do other things that are harmful to us or that's just really not anything. And yet we let the things that we need to do, we let those things be put to the back burner, and those very times come back and they bite us. And you know where they bite us and you know what. But that's problematic.
We got a new comment. Sister Sakina fires in here. She says, peace and blessing, brothers. Hey, Sister Sakina, we appreciate you for logging in.
Yeah, that's true, Chaz.
Letter Q, cultural appropriation, a misrepresenting of African-American life by outside groups. Absolutely. And me and you joked about this the other day. There's an NBA player, I'm not going to say his name, but as an African-American, this is how they see us. He was riding, I think it's a commercial. He's riding the chimney. He had his hat twisted to the side. He had his fingers hanging out of the window. This is how they see us. And this is a misrepresentation. All blacks are not gangsters. All blacks are not thugs. All blacks are not dummies. All blacks are not street animals. But if you look at us on the YouTube, on the news, on TV, especially on the news, that's how they have us represented as lowlives who don't want nothing but drugs, who all we care about is getting women pregnant, not taking care of the kids, and so forth and so on. And that is a perfect representation. When I saw that commercial and I ran that by you, I said, this is a shame. Now, I know he signed up and do it for the money, but that's how people see us as African Americans.
But Chaz, I want to challenge you and ask you a question because I'm going to say something, I'll question you, but A lot of us don't see these things as being weapons. As you look at the bottom of our screen, the crawl, it says weapons that are destroying African American people, part 2. What you said is beautiful, but a lot of us don't see that as a weapon because we want to be like that, because we want
Right.
to take what we have and give it to somebody else and let them use it against us. So you see, I have to ask you this question. Why do you think we've gotten this far off track?
Social programming and brainwashing, especially the brainwashing since I would say middle school all the way to adults, all the brainwashing decades on top of decades on top of
Okay.
decades. And I think the brainwashing has really done its course on us. And I think it's so far done on us that I would say it's almost impossible for us to get out of it. And it's a
Mm.
sad, crying shame that I said that. But brother,
Yeah.
I had to. I believe that that's the truth.
And I know we all want happy endings, but there are no happy endings sometimes. Sometimes we have to look at ourselves and say, hey, I got to do something about my situation to help my people. But unfortunately, a lot of us are not willing to do that because we're trying to let other people represent us in a way that we're not. And then we live up to those representations, those misrepresentations.
Letter R, mismanagement of money, time, and talents. And we all have this issue. We make a little extra money on our jobs. We get some extra overtime or holiday pay. And then, like you said, instead of setting aside for a rainy day, we kind of go to Amazon, we go to Best Buy, we go to Target, we go to all these stores. We start buying things that we really don't need. Most of the time, it's stuff we don't need. Mismanaging of the time. Not using our time wisely. Instead of, like you said, constantly scrolling on the internet, we should be reading, we should be exercising, we should be trying to think of tips and ways on how to better further ourselves. And then some of the talents, some of us probably are good at certain things such as drawing, etc., but we don't know how to put it into practice, meaning we don't know how to get maybe extra cash and stuff from that. But yeah, the mismanagement of money and time is a big thing for the Black community, especially us Black
I
men and
agree
women.
with you, Chaz. I agree with you 100%. But I want to add to that because many of us mismanagement of our money, time, and talents. We don't do anything to support our community. And I think of Sister Sakina. She just commented. She helps me with the school, and she volunteers, and she's faithful when she does that. So she's taking her precious time. And she's taking her time, she's taking her talents of teaching, educating people that look like her. And she's taking all of that and she's giving it to a group of kids that a lot of people don't have time for. So, but yet, these very people will go out to a nightclub every weekend. What you do is what you do. I'm not tripping. But you don't have enough time or any kind of interest in helping the community or helping children or helping senior citizens or helping young adults. So this is why these weapons are destroying us. And I keep telling you, Chaz, we don't see these as weapons of destruction. We see these things as a part of life, but they're really not. And speaking of management of time and money and talent, with our money, Chaz, we should be purchasing things that are very helpful and beneficial to us. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about because Liberation Academy just has put out a calendar. And this calendar is brand new. It hasn't even gone out yet. But the girls at Liberation Academy, as you can see them, this calendar they put together whereby they want to take the resources, which is only $7. If you want it sent to you, you have to go to PayPal. But these girls are saying, hey, let me throw my hat in the ring and be an entrepreneur and make finances so that it can help us with what we do because we don't get funded by the government. So they're saying this is a calendar that we put together. And I wish everyone that's a part of this broadcast, I wish they could support us by going to PayPal, putting in Liberation Academy, and then going to Liberation Academy at sa@gmail.com and purchase a calendar, please, because this is what we do. But no, you may not want to purchase the calendar, but you want to purchase a nickel bag, a dime bag, a blunt. You want to purchase here. You want to purchase all that. So that was a little plug for Liberation Academy to show that we need to support those people that look like us. And we take that money and put it right back into what they're doing. And so that was one of the things that I wanted to say to you, Chaz. I'll let you take this one away here.
Letter S, materialism. obsessed with things like clothes, cars, and gadgets. And brother,
Uh-oh.
let me take this one a step farther.
Okay.
These very things is clothes, cars, and gadgets. We've gotten so obsessed with them, they define us. We think because we drive a Bentley, we drive a Hummer, a Rolls Royce, a Mercedes, a Lambo, all these clothes and Versace and all this crap, we believe that this is our identity. For example, all I wear is nothing but Versace. I don't wear nothing but that. And it's like, it's become our identity. We're so obsessed with it. And then it's even to the fact, brother, where we feel like if the store doesn't have it, we're not buying it. Meaning, if the store didn't have Versace, we're not buying it, the knockoff or anything like that. These things here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with these things. But, brother, we have become so obsessed with these things where it's taking over our lives. We feel like this is our identity. And these gadgets, even like some of these Apple Watches and things like that, all these new gadgets, iPhones that come out, brother, and I'll pass it. It feels like all these things are our identity now. That's what it feels like. It's gotten to that point.
Yeah, this is a learned behavior. That's all it is. You know, why would you take $50,000 and throw a rope around your neck with a chain so people can see you like you some big shot when you're really not, because you don't really know who you are? But I'm going to say something that everybody already knows, Chazz, and this is it.
Okay.
When you leave this earth, I don't care what you and I purchase, and everybody knows this. Your mama done told you, your daddy done told you, your grandmama and grandfather. But I'm going to tell you too, as I talk to you and I, you're not taking any of that with you. Right. You're not taking any of that with you. So stop acting like that. And some of us want to be seen, though, Chazz. We want to be seen. No, Chazz, let's be honest. This is a weapon that's destroying us. See, we don't want to be seen in the community helping elderly. We don't want to be seen in the community helping the young people. We want to be seen with certain things that we have, whether it's an automobile or a stove or refrigerator or a car. This materialism, this opulence, it has really done its job on us. And a lot of us don't really want to accept the fact that that's terrible.
And real quick, before I get to Brother Ray's comment, I forget who the person was, but that's how they talk. Like I said, they go to these stores that sell all these high price gear and stuff. And when they go to the store that day and they say, "Sir, do you have a Versace black shirt in size extra large?" And the dude says, "We're all sold out." We get angry. And they have alternatives there that's a lot cheaper. But the Negro's mindset says, you know what? I ain't buying it then. If it ain't Versace, I ain't getting it. This is ridiculous.
It's a weapon, Chad. It's a weapon that's destroying us. And I'm telling you, that's the truth right there.
Brother Ray has an interesting comment. He fires in here. He says, worshiping rich people and clout chasing. Yeah, I would say that's probably a drug. Worshiping rich people. They have a lot of money. They've done things to get that. But instead of us just admiring them, like I said earlier, we start to want to emulate them. We find out what did they do to get that, so we can hopefully get that one day. And like Brother Ray said, we're worshiping them when you shouldn't be worshiping them. You admire them and then let it go, but you shouldn't be worshiping anybody. Brother Ray is spot on with that. He's
definitely right.
He fires back in here and says, still trusting the oppressors to educate us. They're not. They're not. It's up to us to get on these phones, to get on the library, read books, magazines. It's up to us. In fact, our oppressors are going to do everything to hide information. They're going to make sure that they try to hide this stuff so well that we're going to have to climb mountains to find this information. So like Ray said, they are not going to educate us. You need to get off your butt, get on this phone, and do your own research, because they sure as heck won't do it.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, you and Ray, and you guys may call me the bad guy today, but I have to say this. Okay. There are many of us, we don't want to be educated. I'm talking about ourselves. We don't want to be educated. We have something going on that has stopped the amygdala from thinking and making sure that our emotions are correct. We're not interested in that which is important. And that's a sign of a community or society that's in decline. We're in decline right now because we don't really deal with what we should be dealing with. And we're so material, Chazz. All you got to do is get something new and you're going to walk differently. All you got to do is get some new glasses. You're going to hold your head differently. All you got to do is get a new car, and you're going to lean when you drive. All you got to do is get a little phone, and you're going to sit on couches and stuff like you didn't before. So you
Right.
see,
Right.
obsessed. This is a weapon, and a lot of the ends, we don't want to accept the fact
Uh-oh.
that we are a sick people, and there is no happy ending to this. This is called reality, and this means that we have to stop these weapons that are destroying us. Only we can do it, Chaz. So
Right.
we're the ones that's at fault because we're allowing this. We're allowing this to happen.
Absolutely. We got a new comment. Sister Barbara Fires in here. She says, Hotel. We appreciate her for coming in.
Yeah, Chaz, it's crazy.
Letter T, community and or family support, being there for one another. Yes, that's crucial. That's crucial. We all are having a hard time, I'm pretty sure, in life. But we need that extra bump. We need that motivation. We need that extra somebody that's in our corner saying, you know what, brother? I know your idea may be small right now. I could see this progressing in years. I want to help you progress this business or this restaurant or this car lot, whatever it is. That extra motivation is needed because not all of us aren't strong enough to where we can get up and do it on our own, where we don't need any help, brother. We need that extra push, family included. We would love to pick up the phone or see a text message saying, our relatives saying, you know what, brother, Ja, we believe in your new restaurant. We need this, brother, because like we mentioned earlier, we got enough of people tearing us down. We need that support, brother. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Chaz. This is a weapon that's destroying African American people, which you and I are included. But there's no community or family support in many instances. You know, family is not there for one another like it used to be because everybody wants to be on an island. Everybody wants to do their own thing. Everybody wants to be a lone ranger. You know, everybody wants to be shut in by themselves. Don't bother me until I need to be bothered. You know,
Right.
we have lost it. And the thing of it is, Chaz, this is a weapon that is being used against us. And unfortunately, we're the ones who's using it against ourselves. We're the ones who are using this weapon against ourselves. And that's why it is the way it is.
Wow. Letter U. Lack of communication, not talking openly and honestly. Yeah, a lack of communication. You mean to tell me as grown adults, we can't pick up the phone or tell a person what's going on? We have to make the other person guess what's going on. In fact, we get angry when they don't figure out what's going on with us or not being honest about a situation, knowing something could be hurting us or killing us and not speaking up about it. The lack of communication is big in the Black community. Like I said, we like to play these cat and mouse games where we want people to guess what's wrong with us, guess what's going left, when we should be man or woman enough to talk about something, especially if we were the ones who caused the issue as well.
Yeah, this is true, Chaz. A lack of communication, not talking openly and honestly. You know, I like language, I like literature, I study literature, but a lot of us don't want to be honest. If I'm an alcoholic, instead of you saying what me to me, Ja, you need to really watch that, man. I notice every time I talk to you, you know, you drinking, you what's going on with you? You know, what's up? Instead of me saying, Chaz, you know what, you right. I'm an alcoholic. I'm drinking too much. I need to get myself together. I'm gonna cuss you out because you confronted me, which you really didn't. After I cuss you out, I'm gonna say something that you're doing that has nothing to do with what you said to me out of
Right.
love, you see. And then I'm gonna start using hyperboles. I'm gonna start using metaphors. I'm gonna start using similes. I'm gonna start talking about things that you don't understand, like well, one day a dog went and did. So that has nothing to do with what you just said to me. And so what
Right.
I'm saying is, I'm not being honest. And most of us are not being honest because we're not honest with ourselves. And that, again, is a weapon that is destroying us, but yet we don't want to deal with it.
Letter V, neglect. Failing to spend time on what needs serious attention. Example, one's health. Now that I could talk about that one, like you said, to the cows come on. Not only health, but our mental health as well. Sometimes, and I'm not making fun of anyone who may have any mental issues, but people who say, you know what, something is going wrong with me in my head. I need to get this checked. But we neglect putting it off. We neglect putting it off. And I hate saying this, brother. There are some people who neglect this thing so far, and I know this is extreme, that some of us go on a shooting spree. Now, I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying that
Whoa,
the-
whoa.
these are some of the things that happen. And then, like you have on the screen, neglecting one's health. It's not always exercise, like you said. It's going to the doctor, getting little checkups and stuff like that. But the one I want to hit home real quick, and I'll pass it, is the exercising. Get up, jog if you can. Get up and walk around the block for 10 minutes. Do something to get the blood pumping.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We need, Chazz, having a serious discussion is hard right these days. We neglect to spend the time on that which needs serious attention. One's health, one's mind, one's relationship with themselves.
Right.
We've been living a life for so many years that now it's too far gone. We have people that are really need some psychiatric help. And see, this is what's destroying us. But yet many of us don't want to hear this because we're in that condition. We know that we need to take care of ourselves. We know we need to take care of our family. We know we need to take care of our minds. We know we need to take care of our mental. We need to take care of our consciousness. We need to take care of all of that. But a lot of us aren't going to do it because what we have done is we have allowed this weapon to destroy us. And now we find it hard to get back on track.
Letter W, external influences, allowing family, friends, or social media to interfere with necessary obligations. Yeah, now we've all have had that happen at times where there's certain things that we know we need to get done, and our relatives say, "Oh, you don't need to do that. That can wait. Come on, like you said, let's go to this bar, let's go to this club, let's go get wet, let's go get drunk." Certain things like that have happened to all of us at one time. And we shouldn't be letting these things interfere with us. Not only that, I'll take it a step further. We let some of what we see on social media interfere with us because of what some person said or how they act. If we look up to that individual or those people, we allow that to persuade us. And the way we could have, I'll say this real quick, the way we could have thought at first was right. But because hypothetically Bill Clinton said it or Hillary Clinton said it, because they said it, now we twist our minds and we say, well, they right because they in a high class and they got all this money. So some of these things, like these political influencers, can kind of get us off track and persuade us in a negative fashion. I'll put it that way.
I'm going to show you what has influenced most adults. The kids, maybe if I had a tablet, I can show you. But I'm going to demonstrate to you what has really influenced us. And it's an external influence. And it's social media. But this is what we do. I'm talking about 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old people. This is all we. This is what we, man. I'm telling you the truth, and you know I am. This thing has been used to our detriment. This has become a weapon against us because sometimes we find ourselves waking up at night, and instead of thinking and concentrating and meditating, we grab this thing and there we go. And if we miss somebody's post, we got to go check and see what they said so we can like it. So they can see us, or we put a smiling face, or we put a picture of us so that person can say, wow, this is beautiful. So we have some mentally deranged people, and this is a weapon that has really destroyed us, Chazz.
Yeah, we could really talk about that for a whole hour, that last point, but we'll move on to the next one. Letter X, childish and frivolous. Some of us are immature and don't want to be serious about anything. We play too much as adults. I'll let you take this one, then I'll piggyback off of it.
Yeah, because a lot of us are like big kids, although our numerical age may be 40, 50, 60, 70, etc. But the way we think inside is like a 5-year-old. It really is. And I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just talking about the reality because I'm not as old as I'm supposed to be. I mean, my age, I still have some growing up to do. But I'm saying that many of us, we play too much. Listen, Chazz, all we want is a joke. All we want is a riddle. All we want is some laughter. All we want is somebody to see us. All we want is
Mm.
somebody to love us. All we want is attention. And so what you find is you find a person who's hurting inside. They're
Yeah.
really hurting inside, but they can't express that. So in order to say I'm hurting, instead of saying that, they want to be the center of attention. They want to be the loudest one at the party. They want to be the person who everybody sees that's saying something. They want everybody to notice them. They want people to look at them because of their identity. They're so low right now, and they don't see that.
Wow.
See, and they get angry when you don't recognize them. They get angry when you don't say their name. They get angry when you don't pat them on their back. They get angry when you don't compliment them. They get angry when you don't say anything nice about them. And I'm sorry for going on a tangent, but
No,
Chazz,
you gonna keep going.
this frivolity has done us a bad thing. It's a disservice to us. It's a weapon that's destroying us. And you can't have a serious conversation with people because many people don't know how to have a serious conversation. They can't talk about life. They can't talk about love. They can't talk about relationships. They can't talk about music. They can't talk about emotions. All they can do is run to these places and go to these places and get messed up psychologically. And I don't care where the place is, but it has a hold on us so strong that we can't let go. So we become little kids, although we're old as dirt, old as Methuselah, but we become little kids in our thinking. And it's very difficult to be serious. As this point says, some are just too immature and we don't want to be serious about anything. We play too much is basically what we're saying.
Yeah. So in other words, you probably say that a lot of these guys are gestures.
Yes, that's right. Clowns, jesters. See, some people, for example, and this is no one in particular, this is just an illustration. Some of us men, we have children,
Okay.
and we're not doing what we're supposed to do with our children. We're not being the men that we should. We're not supporting our kids at all. I'm not talking about child support. I'm talking about emotional support. I'm talking about other types of support. We're not doing that. So that means that we become kids because only a child wouldn't take care of their business. A child wouldn't take care of their health. So we have become childish and we've displayed frivolity. We just play too much. It's hard to have a serious. You think I'm blind and playing Chazz, but
Oh
it's
no.
hard to have a serious conversation with people because a lot of us can't get. We every time we get serious, there's a joke at the end. There's something at the end that's funny. There's something that we want to bust the gut and hold our stomach while we're laughing. We don't want to
Yeah.
be serious, man. And
Yeah.
sometimes as an adult, you should want to be serious because now is the time for seriousness and not frivolity and foolishness.
Yeah, that one was well said. I mean, I really don't have too much to add to that. Like you said, it's we love our comedy, and I think as blacks, not isolating us, but it just appears that we love our stand-up guys. Like there's a guy, I think his name, he passed away, Bruce, and yeah, Cedric the Entertainer, and these kind of guys. We love these kind of guys. We identify with them, like you said, and it's okay to listen to them every now and then. But like or Kevin Hart, but we're constantly searching up their material. We're constantly looking for them because, like you said, we just want to have a good time and just be crying, laughing. When you gotta put some of that aside sometime.
Now, those are profound words you just spoke because what you said was so true. In other words, there's nothing wrong. We're not saying there's anything wrong with comedy. There's nothing wrong with laughter. We all need a good
Right,
laugh. But if
right.
that's all you do, Chazz, every time I see you, you want to tell me a joke. Every time I see you, you want to do things to make or looking for somebody that so you can laugh about. Every time I see you, I'm in one room talking or doing some reading, and I hear you laughing in the other room. And I'm thinking you're talking to somebody. You looking at your phone, laughing at a comedian. I mean, you're hollering too, like you're at the comedy show, and this
Right.
doesn't make sense. We
Right.
have some growing up to do, and this is a weapon that is destroying us, and you know it is.
Absolutely. Letter Y. Adults giving up on our people. Many adults seem to have given up on assisting their help to our people. Nonchalant attitude and everything. This one right here is sad, but it's true. A lot of us adults, we're giving up, and I'm gonna take it a step farther. I I don't want to say this, but I have to say it. The reason why some of us are giving up on these people because we think that they're not anything to begin with. Think about it.
Oh, wow, Chaz.
If we have faith in something and we see a vision and we feel like it can get better, we normally going to stick with it. We're going to keep sticking with it and keep sticking with it. But when you see something or someone, in your opinion and in your mind, you feel like they're not about anything, you're just going to give up on it quickly and move on to something else because that's how you see them. And this is sad to where you had to type this out on the screen. How many of our adults, and we're not, like I said, helping people, and it's not from the aspect of always giving money. It can be helping them get in and out of their car. Some people who are disabled, getting them in their apartment or houses, things like that. It's sad. And like you said, we're nonchalant about everything until it hits our front door. And well, like they say, I don't care. It ain't me in my house, so it's whatever. Not nonchalant attitude is very, very disgusting, but that's what we are in society where people are just giving up on people, and this is sad.
Yo, we have no more points to talk about. This is our last one for the day, and we still have about 15 minutes. So, as they say, we're going to ride this one on out. We're going to ride this horse out, meaning that this weapon here, we're going to continue to just, what they say, beat a dead horse, but we can't stop now because this has so much, it's loaded with points that we can make out of this. And the first point I want to make, and then we can go back and forth, because the reason that many adults have given up on our people and don't want to do anything, Chaz, don't want to help anybody, and have a nonchalant attitude in everything. The reason that people are like that, you got to try to wind them up to get them to go. And here's the reason. It's because they have given up on themselves.
Wow.
They have given up on themselves. And I want to encourage anybody out there today that if you're in that situation, don't do that.
Right.
Don't give up on yourself. I don't care what life has thrown your way. I don't care what is going on right now. Don't give up on yourself. Because when you give up on yourself, you have nothing to live for. Then you want to go catch the next ship and go somewhere because you want to escape the reality. And all that's fine. But we've given up on ourselves because, Chaz, we should be able to withstand anything that comes our way. Anything.
Right. That's
and because we have, because our ancestors have. They've been through slavery. They went through being kings and queens. They went through civil rights. They went through just about everything you could imagine. Rape, torture, abuse, mental, psychological. They went through everything. And yet they didn't give up on themselves. And here we are now on the backside of all of that. Have given up. This is why I'm telling you, Chaz, many adults have given up on our people. And we can ride this one out because I want to ask you, why does it seem like when we ask adults to help our people, why is the first thing they say, I'm not helping them?
I want to just piggyback off what you just said. Now was a good motivation for people who are out there who may not be strong enough to comment on the screen. But if you're listening and don't want to comment, for people who are out there that are saying that they give up on themselves, they give up on life, they have no hope, the future is bleak, they don't really see any hope of living. We are here to encourage you. Don't do that. Because when you do that, it makes nothing but your situation worse. And then, like you said, when you quit living, you start gaining excess weight, your health goes bad. You really, really don't want to get out of bed. Then you have to take antidepressants and stuff to try to make your mood and stuff better. All these things that you shouldn't, and I'm serious when I say this, don't give up on yourself. If there's someone out here listening that's feeling that way, yeah, it may hurt. Yeah, you may want to cry. Let it out. But don't be sitting in a room with the lights out, just crying and crying and crying. Don't do that. And that was just, I just want to piggyback off what you said, because that was excellent about people who have given up on themselves. And if there's anyone listening, please don't do that, because that's very, very sad to hear that. But what was your question on the?
I was saying, because I know what it is. These are weapons that's destroying us, and I'm thinking that it's important. I'm saying that if you ask an adult, in many instances, let's do this, let's do that, that's positive. Before you can ask them, they don't want to do it. And I'm saying, what happened to us that back in the day, many people would jump at trying to help. Nowadays, nobody wants to be bothered. We don't want to help anybody. Why is that?
We're on edge. If it's our, and I'm gonna just say this real quick. a lot of us feel like if it's not us, like me or you personally, a lot of us have adopted this mindset. If it ain't us, I don't care. That's what I can really, really pinpoint it. That's how much selfish we've become. If it's not putting money in my pockets or my family's pockets, I don't care about the next man or woman. And I hate saying it, brother, but that's as blunt as I can get. I would say that's the main thought process behind it, is because we become so selfish to where if it's not putting money in our pockets or benefiting us in any shape or fashion, we just don't care. I'll flip it to you. What do you think the reason is for this?
I think life has they say life deals us all a hand, and life has dealt us all a bad hand, but we haven't played that hand to our advantage. In other words, I'm complaining about my bills. I'm complaining about this. I'm complaining about the system. I'm complaining about my kids. I'm complaining about my health. I'm complaining about my relationship. I'm complaining. And what that has done is it has taken the self-love that I should have for myself. It's ripped that love out of me. And so now I got to run to different places to try to find that love, see? So like a hound dog, I'm not calling anybody a dog, so don't take this out of context. But like a hound dog, I'm sniffing. I'm sniffing, and I've used this before on this broadcast, but this is really fitting now. I'm sniffing. I'm trying to find something when I already have it in my heart. But because life has dealt me a bad hand, I didn't get what I wanted. By now, I should have this. By now, my kids should be that. And that has taken its toll on us to now where I don't want to be taught anything. And many of us adults, that's why our numbers always drop. Because many people don't want to be taught, Chazz. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They don't want to hear what I have to say. They can say all they want to that they listen to the preacher. They don't want to hear what the preacher has to say. They don't want to hear what the has to say. They don't want to hear what this guru has to say. They don't want to hear what the spiritual teacher has to say. They don't want to hear about any positive African Americans or civil rights or pioneers or ancestors. They don't want to hear about anything, but yet they always using concepts that make you think that they're on. They've given up on life, Chazz. They haven't only given up on our people, but they've given up on life. And that's really sad to say that. Would you agree with that?
I'm shaking my head, agreeing with you 1,000%, brother. It is sad when you get to a point to where, like you just said, we're giving up. We just don't feel like there's any reason to keep going. But like we said, we want you to keep going. We want you to fight back. And here's some people who may say, well, I've been fighting for years and I still see no progress. You still got to keep fighting. As long as you have breath and you're breathing and you're able to talk and think, keep fighting. Because here's the thing. It's not going away. No. It's not like you're going to go to bed and wake up and everything is gone. Until you die, if you're an average person, you're going to have to put up a fight. It's just so many fights that you got to put out from the system. You got to fight these police, not literally, but I'm saying trying to keep your life intact so you don't get killed. There's so many avenues that you have to put up a fight, but you have to, because if you don't, you mean to tell me that you're just going to lay down and take this thing?
Yeah. And be committed to something positive too. You know, quit laying around and whining and moaning. Get up off your you know what and do something that's positive, Chazz. You know, because we sit around and we become miserable, and all day we're just angry, we're just bitter, we're right. This is enough to cause anybody to have a breakdown, and that's what's going to happen. I go back to my commercial that I said earlier. This is the commercial I want to say again, and I'm gonna push this. This is Liberation Academy's 2025 calendar. It has a lot of birth dates throughout every month of somebody that was an African American or African who did something positive for us as a people. This is just January. We got it from January all the way to December. Yes, it has the regular so-called holidays as well, but this is a good calendar. It talks about their mission, and these are the girls that's a part of Liberation Academy. The calendar is only $7, but if you get it shipped to you, it's $10. You get it shipped to you by going to PayPal, and basically you put in PayPal Liberation Academy. Once that comes up, you put in our email address, which is liberationacademysa@gmail.com. You send $10. We ship it to you. You tell other people about it. So this is an entrepreneurial type of thing that these kids are trying to do. They want to sell their own. So we need to get our own calendars and purchase our calendars and put one up. Tell somebody about it. And I think that's important, Chazz, that we actually do that.
Absolutely. I hope you guys keep pushing these calendars and make some good profit. I'm glad that you hype and energized about pushing it. Like you said, I was going to ask, what is the next topic next week going to be about, or we haven't really thought too much about that?
We haven't come up with one. I was trying to get Raymond to be more specific on his subject that he said. One time he wanted us to do something on something he was dealing with, but I want him to kind of be more specific. So if he's out there, maybe he can email me, he can text me. He has my number. He can let us know, because we definitely want to be able to hone in on what he's saying, because that's the persons that we are. But I'm going to start it off because we still have a good 5 minutes, but I'll just go on a little 2-minute rant right now to say, first of all, we appreciate everybody for watching this broadcast. We know that you don't have to do it. We know this is so-called Thanksgiving Eve and you're with friends and family and all that. That's fine. But we thank those who watch this broadcast. We hope that this broadcast was a beneficial like a substance to you, so that you can leave and say, hey, those guys have taught me something I want to apply to life, and this is going to help me. But just remember, there are many weapons that Chazz and I can never talk about because there's too many of them. Weapons that are destroying African-American people. And we want you to be on your guard to look out for those weapons. And then don't just look out for them, but when you see that weapon comes to you, when it comes to you, take that weapon and use it to your advantage. And make sure that you're in the driver's seat, that your children are in the driver's seat, that your loved ones are in the driver's seat, and that your mind is in the driver's seat. And so we just want you to know that this lesson that we're talking about now, weapons that will destroy that are destroying, I should say, African-American people, these weapons are real. And I just want to say, Chazz, that we need to do other broadcasts that encourages people, because we're in a bad way. And I don't think many of us see it because we're not serious about what we should be serious about. So we got 3 minutes. So I'll give you the 3 minutes to close us out, and we'll see you on next Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And for those who are on the East Coast or the Midwest, it's going to be 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And tell somebody about this broadcast, adults only, because this broadcast is really, really needed, and it's also necessary. Okay, Chazz, take us away.
I appreciate everyone who watched today. Like we said earlier, you could have been doing anything, but tonight's broadcast was serious. It's about weapons of mass destruction, how they're doing it, the avenues that they're coming at us with, and how we can fight back against it. For the people who are feeling hopeless in this spot, there is hope. As long as you're breathing, there is hope. It may look bleak, but you have to keep fighting back. One of the avenues that we talked about that we want to get home is through the brainwashing, through what these people are telling us, and we're not doing our own research about some of these things. So now here we go, believing something that could be a lie, and we're not doing our own due diligence to make sure that that person is correct. Last but not least, I just want to say this one more time about the weapons of mass destruction. You have to have hope. You have to have hope. Brother, that's pretty much all I have to say on that. And that's pretty much all I have. I appreciate you for having me on.